Oh, yeah, yeah. Unashamed, unafraid. I'm trying to walk the walk. Sleep on the mic. No shame here, just real talk. Came from the outside, never fit in. Now we tell the story and the healing begins. No front, no mask, just telling the truth. Keep it real, keep it raw, speak it straight from the foot. If you're feeling like an outsider, this one's for you. Dude. Oh, yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Unashamed, Unafraid, unashamed of sexual addiction recovery and unafraid of coming unto Christ for healing. James, it's been a little bit since you've been behind the mic.
Hey, thanks for having me back, man.
Welcome back.
It's good to be here.
We're doing a special today on Warrior Heart. It's probably been a couple years since we've actually done an episode specifically on Warrior Heart. It's been, like a week and a half since we got back from boot camp. And James and Dan Ostler, who's a friend of mine, pretty well known in boot camp circles.
Dan the man.
He's the man. He is. Everybody who goes to Warrior Heart knows Dan Ostler. So welcome, Dan.
Thanks.
So the reason I wanted to do this is two reasons. Number one, I think it's kind of fun to talk about some of the experiences I'm having in my own healing process. The 7th time in, I'm still having some pretty incredible healing experiences with God and with other men. Number two is I kind of want to go over what Warrior Heart is if there's people out there who don't understand all the hype that we keep throwing at them. Dan and James, you guys were both there for a pretty incredible experience that I had. We did a session called Divine Masculinity where they talk about just a lot of the shame that comes at men from different angles in life and how that shame clogs up the lens that we look through. And it just hit me really hard. The first 7 months of marriage have been an adjustment for me. And, then just the buildup. It's been a year and a half since I've really gone to boot camp for myself. And so there's things that catch back on if you're not actively doing your own healing and work. And there's some complacency I think I'm healing from. So I kind of wanted to talk about the experience I had because that Divine Masculinity session hit me hard. I left and I just knew I need to pray with some guys. I need to connect with God and I need to open up about some things I haven't opened up about. And so craziest thing happened. And Dan, you're welcome to chime in, man, from your perspective on kind of how that worked for you. I went to go find guys to pray with.
You were not okay.
I was not okay.
And I was back there.
I didn't know that at first. Whenever you were not okay, I was off in the middle of my own thing trying to process some of what I was taking away from that session. So I stepped into it a minute or two or five in when you and James were already together over in the corner of that room.
So I just got up to open some doors and some windows, get the air circulating back in the presentation barn, and get some light back in. And you came walking out.
Yeah, and I was just looking for the right person, the safe person, to connect with, because I was heavy, just feeling really dark. And I saw James, and immediately I thought, okay, not a coincidence that James just pops up in here. James is on a short list of maybe 5 people who I just know for sure. He's going to love me forever. And I just feel safe with him. He's someone who I consider to be a very close representation of what I hope Jesus is like. And so that was huge. And I just went and I gave him a big hug and I just started sobbing. It was uncontrollable. I haven't cried like that in a long time. I don't think I've cried in months. And it all just kind of came out. And so that's kind of the condition that Dan walked over and found both of us in.
You gave me a hug and then you were like, will you pray with me, man? And I'm like, do you want somebody else to pray with you? And you looked over.
That's right.
And there was Dan sitting right there at the table. And you're like,
yeah,
that guy.
I celebrate moments like that just because when you see the hand of God in something, it exhilarates me just to literally just be sitting in that moment and saying, oh, there is no coincidence in the way that these men came together in the corner of this room. And my side of that story was I actually wasn't planning on being in that corner of the room. I think I told you this after the fact. I had my own processing. I was coming out of that session. I wanted to just go spend some time quiet out in the woods, journal some stuff, have my own prayer moment. And when I was headed to that little sweet spot that I had mentally picked out to go, that unmistakable voice just landed on me, where the Spirit is just like, no, let's have you stay right here in the corner of this room. And it was it was that calming, peaceful, confident feeling that I don't understand why, but that's what pulls you to the corner of the room, that you find a good friend of yours crying on another friend's shoulder, and you realize that God wants you to be a part of a prayer. Lift this guy, and he spoke that to me. And so it's a soft little tender moment where you just go, all right, we could have gone different directions, but the Father recognizes that there's just certain moments in our life, and boot camp facilitates a lot of those moments. When you find yourself, you're unplugging from technology, you leave that behind, you get up into nature, you get up into the mountains, and you invite God into 3 days of your life. It facilitates opportunities like that where you just say, I'm here to let you find me. And those are special moments when you realize, all right, God just facilitated a moment where some friends, some brothers that love each other and trust each other can come and hold. In this case, it was you, Sam. I mean,
Yeah.
you were having a moment where you just needed people that you could trust, and God knew it. And he set the stage for James to be right where he was. And he set the stage to pull me back in from outside. I like that because you look at moments like that and you realize God really is in the details.
Yeah.
You were processing, and frankly, he knew what James and I needed in that moment because we gained something out of that. I'm confident. I actually haven't talked to you, James, about your experience there, but I was able to journal things for me out of our interaction right there. And it becomes one of those anchoring moments that you just appreciate the way that heaven shows up for someone who will just pause and invite him into 3 days of our life.
I wasn't there on the prayer team. I was just there to assist with AV and make sure that stuff was running smooth in the background. So I was in one group prayer that weekend. It was that one.
Yeah. And what's cool about it is I actually thought about this later. Of the 125 plus guys up there at boot camp, including staff, I genuinely can think of two that I really needed to be with in that moment. It was Dan and it was James. It's a special time. I'd have to say, honestly, that boot camp, as an overall experience, all 7 times that I've been, has been the most helpful thing that I have ever done for my recovery in the consistent healing. There's been things that have been more intense and more helpful for a small period of time, but boot camp is the thing, man. I've just healed. I was so stuck, so stuck until the first boot camp I went to, and it finally was safe to just
Yeah.
to open up.
There's
And,
a power in the consistency of going, I'm noticing.
There is, yeah.
Yeah. I know it was for me personally. I mean, obviously for me personally, there was nothing quite like that first boot camp as far as that 2x4 to the head moment, the profound spiritual impact, but it was the ongoing of that I continued to pick up all the pieces as I worked to integrate recovery into my lifestyle. And being at boot camp and that consistency of that message helped me stay consistent in integrating healthy lifestyle and recovery lifestyle.
What's your experience been like with that, Dan? I know you've been to at least 4 boot camps now, but probably more than that.
Yeah, 6 or 7, I think now.
Okay.
I don't disagree. For me, my experience has been unique with each one of them. So there hasn't been one boot camp that has felt similar to the other one. And it's really hard to rank which ones I like better than others because God just meets me where I'm at. So I attended the first one, and it impacted me enough that I went home and I was on a mission to get people that I loved and trusted and hoped would take me up on my invitation. And I wanted to bring people back with me. And then that happened again a second time, a third time, a fourth time, to where each one was impactful enough for me that I said, I definitely need to go back to another one. There's more to be had. And for me, each of those lessons have been different or unique because I just show up and I go, God, you know where I'm at. It's been one of those things where each time that I've showed up, I'm in a different place. 6 months later, 4 months later, 1 year later, maybe I'm lucky this way or am wired this way. When I walk into that moment, I just invite him into where I'm at. I don't try to pretend like I know what he's going to do for me in that moment. And I
Right.
just say, you know what's on my mind, you know what's on my heart, you know where I'm at with things I'm struggling with, things I'm trying to overcome, things that I want to connect with you about. And because that's the way I go in, he finds me in a different place every time. And so it's hard to say that one's better than another because everyone is perfect for that moment. So I end up going home and saying, all right, well, maybe my focus was a little bit different this one than a previous one, but that's because I was in a different space in life. But
Dan, how do you get guys to boot camp? Because I've been to 6 or 7 boot camps myself, so about the same as you. And I've gotten 3 guys to come with me, right?
Well,
You've been to 6.
congratulations. Those are 3 lucky people.
Those are 3 lucky people, right?
Yeah.
You've gotten 77 or something like that, right? Like it's been an all out recruiting. I mean, this is summer sales for you. Like, you're like the summer sales bro for Warrior Heart. But like,
You start knocking doors, passing out flyers.
for me, because I want to get better at this, and for our audience, like, give us the pitch, because it is life changing. It's transformative. It's this thing that, like,
A top 5 life
it's
experience.
a top 5 life experience, but it's hard to communicate to someone who's never been.
I don't really know what the magic bullet is, other than I really do include God in it. There's plenty of people that I haven't invited yet, and I check in with the Lord, and I'm just like, is it time to invite? I'm prayerful about that. I know a lot of men. I rub shoulders with a lot of people in my church community, and I just network a lot. I'm just a networker, just in general. I'm a business owner here in my hometown and have been for a lot of years. And so you rub shoulders with a lot of people. But when I want to invite somebody, I just go to God and I'm like, do they need it, first of all? And if they do, you're going to help me do this, right? I really just trust that. And the pitch has actually been different from person to person. I remember going to somebody, and I think my pitch was, listen, I promise you that if you drop a $10,000 check to get here, when you leave, you would be willing to write a second one and come back again.
Wow.
And I said, good news for you. You don't have to write a $10,000 check. It's a lot less than that, 600 or $700 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
like
right.
it's not a lot, but I just knew that was what I needed to say to him. I think he might be the only person that I've said that to, but he understood the impact. Somebody else, I went and said, I'm not even going to tell you what I'm inviting you to, but I'm literally saying, if I've built up any emotional currency with you at all in my life, I just want you to drop everything you're doing on such and such a date. I want you to go in, register for this thing, get in my car and drive with me and trust me. I think I've only said that to one person, but I knew that he knew me well enough that he would do it. He said, Dan, if you're telling me that that's what needs to happen, I'll do that for you. Other people I'm dripping on, it's just one of those things where it's like, I feel I should invite you. I don't know what that looks like in your life. I don't know why. So some people, I take them out to lunch and I just get to know them and where you at in life. And would this be something for you? It's really different from person to person, but truthfully, I have to give the credit to God, because I believe that he knows where they're at and what kind of an invitation it's going to take to get them there. I think my job is really just to say it is a top 5 experience for me. And why wouldn't I open my mouth about it?
Yeah.
If I went to a good movie, I don't think twice about, next time I'm at lunch with a buddy, dude, have you seen such and such? Man, that is a good flick. When are you going? I'd go again. I'd go a second time. Maybe we can do it together. Like, that's so easy. It's so natural. This boot camp has been such an uplifting experience for me and for the people I've brought, that I think it's an easy conversation to say. It may or may not be up your alley, but it's just easy for me to tell you I loved it.
Yeah.
And I think that because I do that and I do it prayerfully, at some level, people agree with me that it's worth carving out some time. I don't know that I have to twist arms or give a sales pitch. I just share. This is what it did for me. This is what it did for some of my other brothers. This is why I'm inviting you. I do approach it like, because it's a top 5 experience, I'd feel really bad if you missed out on it. I'm not going to apologize about that. Maybe it's not for everyone, but I sure think it's for 99.99999% everyone. I don't think there's too many people that aren't going to get something out of this.
Yeah.
That's my approach.
Well, that reminds me of a story I heard told by David A. Bednar. He talked about how 2 of his sons, he watched them when they were like 2 and 5 years old. They were playing outside, and the younger boy got hurt. And so they come in, the younger boy's screaming and crying. The older boy went over to the cupboard, grabbed the first aid kit. He had to wash him off. He had to put the ointment on, bandaged up his little brother. They watched this whole process unfold. Slowly, the younger brother stops crying, gets calm, smile comes back on his face, and soon enough, they're good. They put everything away and they head back out to play. But before they leave, the younger brother grabs the first aid kit and they watch as that little boy walks to his friends outside and puts a bandage up and down every single one of their arms. Because when something heals you, when something takes away the pain, naturally and instinctively, you want to give that thing to every person that you know. It's because it works. When you really learn who Jesus is, and you really find a place where you can meet him, you want to give that to other people. This is why we preach Warrior Heart ad nausea. I want to go back to the experience that I had with James and Dan. That's probably a top 5 healing experience in my own life. I haven't released emotion in that way. I don't know if I ever have, maybe at the trauma retreat I went to, but it was a pretty singular experience. Why was it able to happen at Warrior Heart Boot Camp?
One of the things I love about it is that God always finds a way to meet people up there.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody that goes off the mountain that says, I didn't connect with God at some level and significantly. So when you show up there and you're processing whatever is talked about in divine masculinity and something's sinking in your heart, how do you get to a place where you even feel safe enough, or like this is the time that you can have a breakdown moment and that there's going to be men that hold you?
I think it's just the structure of Warrior Heart. Like, you can't mess that up. The sessions are different every single time, even though it's the same content. But, like, it doesn't matter how it's presented. It's just, it resonates in a way that it's different. I don't even know if I could describe that, but it's safe in a way that you've never experienced before in your life. And it's safe in a way that you want it to be. It's not like this thing. Guys always get turned off by this thing. It's like, well, I got to go, like, hug and cry with a bunch of guys in the woods. It's like, no, it's not really the point. Like, you might if you want to. It might be the first time in your life that you've ever felt safe to do that, but that's not the requirement. What you'll find is that you'll come to boot camp and you'll hear the messages and it will resonate with you in a way that you never really articulated before. I've never really thought much about the divine masculinity session, ever. But there was something about it this time. It was exactly what I needed, and God spoke to my heart.
I think that's the key. I think that when you get a bunch of men that leave the world behind for a few days, like I say, unplug from technology and go up into the mountains with the intent to get quiet and to just go inside their heart and just to invite God into that, there's something that God can do with us in that invitation that creates the healing and the safety that you don't necessarily get at the therapist office or talking with an ecclesiastical leader or even with your spouse. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's super appropriate to show up in life and do all that we can to heal ourselves and find the professionals and get in the programs and do it. But when we invite Christ into that conversation and say, I'm going to do this with you, and we're super unapologetically Christian, unapologetically, Christ is there to help us, heal us, find us, and be with us and walk that walk with us. I think it's when he all of a sudden shows up that he brings the peace, he brings the comfort, he makes you feel safe. He puts his arms around you. And in this case for you, he brought a couple of men that God knew you would trust at boot camp. It's almost like he's primed the pump and he's just said, I will find you here. And so it makes it a lot more comfortable for us to say, I need that moment with you right now. I need to just let some things go. Warrior Heart facilitates that really, really well.
Yeah.
Times 100 people. It's not just 1 or 2 people that are having beautiful experiences. Everybody that's there has invited Christ to come walk with them or find them or heal them.
Right.
And in that moment for you, that's what it was. You stood up and you're just like, God, this is my moment. I need you. I need something with you right now. And there just happened to be a couple of brothers that knew it was time to hold you.
Yeah.
And he facilitates that as well.
I know that it's a sacred moment, but do you want to share with us kind of what happened for you maybe during the prayer or what felt impactful during that prayer for you?
Yeah. I think I just connected with God and I opened up to him about how hard many things have been. I didn't anticipate marriage would be really freaking hard. I knew it logically. I didn't understand it emotionally, right? And me and my wife are both doing our healing. I would say we're doing quite well if you look long term. But we've really struggled to understand each other. I have struggled so much to feel seen in our relationship. And so I brought that to God and I've spoken to him about it in a 30-second prayer at times, but not in a way where the feelings were at the surface. I could really give it to him. I saw him differently in that moment and I told him about it and I just felt his embrace. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing was to be seen by James and Dan. It mattered that you two were in that prayer with me and I was talking it out loud with you too. Because I've had an experience with the two of you that's different than most of my relationships. It's kind of like a Christ figure relationship. Like I see you guys and I'm like, yes, I can go to either of those men at any time and talk to them about anything on the planet, and they will show up as safe individuals. It may be also a reflection, frankly, of my lack of creating safety in my life outside of boot camp. I've really struggled to create safety in my life, in my relationships. And so it all came together in one, and it was just like God's reassurance, hey, I'm here. You don't have to earn it from me. I see you. I know your pain. I felt it myself, and we're going to do this together. My invitation to the audience would be, guys, if you have been listening to this podcast and you have heard us talk about Warrior Heart, and you have made any number of excuses not to go to this point, you gotta get there. It will change the course of your recovery. It will set you on a course that will change the rest of your life. So that's what I want to offer you. Sign up for boot camp. And we've got a couple scholarships still that we can offer for this upcoming one-ship boot camp this fall. Go to unashamedunafraid.com/scholarships. Apply for one there. You can also go to awarriorheart.com, click on their scholarships link, and apply through Warrior Heart. If you haven't been, you got to get there. And we also have a very large female audience. Glory or Heart of a Woman, which are the two kind of female equivalents of Warrior Heart, I would also recommend that to you. Glory is in Arizona. Heart of a Woman, it's typically in Utah. But get yourself to one of those boot camps. It will change your relationship with other people. It will change your relationship with yourself, and it will change your relationship with God. Anything you guys would add?
There was my life before boot camp and my life after boot camp.
Well said.
It is a night and day difference. And my life completely changed for the better. Completely changed the spiritual trajectory of my life forever in a positive and beautiful way.
Dan?
I totally agree with that. I remember when I was invited in to your prayer with you, James and you waved me over, and I remember the feeling, not just the feeling, but like the light that came over us, where it felt very, very much like there was a shield of light that just enveloped you. And it's so just to participate in that and just to say, to be three men holding each other while somebody's trying to have a moment with God, and just to be wrapped in light and love and peace. Like, these are moments where we get to share in you an experience that you're having with God. And that's super uplifting, just to recognize God is here for him, for us. It's hard to put words on, but when it happens, you definitely come off the mountain saying, I feel changed.
Limited time offer. If you are a first-time boot camper, use the code Unashamed100 to get $100 off your first boot camp. Register on awarriorheart.com.
Come see a different version of God. Come experience post-boot camp life. That's our invitation. Thanks for watching. Find us on social media at Unashamed Unafraid. Catch us in the bonus content for more of my own thoughts on healing and recovery. To get access to our bonus content, become an outsider on unashamedunafraid.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if this was helpful to you, it'll probably be helpful to someone else. So take some time right now and share it with a friend. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, continue to live unashamed. See you at boot camp.